What's up, guys? It's Phil from Absolute Check, and today I want to talk about Louis Zamperini, and this is his biography named Devils at My Heels, and there is also a movie called Unbroken, realized by Angelina Jolie that relate his life. I highly recommend you to watch the movie and also read the biography. It is amazing. There's so much wisdom. So let's start with his early life. Well, Louis Zamperini is an Italian that came with his family to America. And in his early life, it was really difficult for him because every other guy was messing around with him since he was an Italian with a big nose. And this was hard for him. So to escape reality, he decided early in his life to drink, smoke, and steal. That was where he took pleasure, and he started at like the age of 11 or 12, so it was really really early. But his older brother realized that he needed to change his mind and focus on something better for him. So he decided to bring him into the running team of his school, and this drastically changed his life because Louis went to the Olympic later on. But what's great from his brother is that he realized that Louis needed to focus his attention on running instead of stealing, which totally changed his life. After so many years of training, Louis got the chance to go to the Olympic because he had so much potential and he was working so hard toward this goal. So he went to the Olympic in Germany, and later on he wanted to go to the Olympic in Japan, but this wasn't possible because he had to go into the army. He was still training to become to go to the Japan, but his life completely changed when he had to go on a rescue mission because Louis was the guy who was in charge of dropping bombs while he was in a plane, and one day his captain decided that he needed to go on a rescue mission, so they didn't have to fight, but they needed to find other people that their plane crashed. And while they were searching around the ocean, Japanese zealots found them and they attacked them. So their motor failed and they dropped into the ocean. At the impact, all the crew died, but Louis survived, the driver survived, and one other guy also survived. So they were really freaking out, and when they were on their little boat, the next day they wake up and one of the guy had ate all the supplies. So Louis was really really mad because he knew his chance of survive was near none. But he managed to survive. The guy who ate all the supply died after 30 days, and the driver and Louis Zamperini managed to survive until 50 days, until one of the Japanese find them. But before them, I need you to understand that Louis had a mind to survive. He wanted to survive at any cost. When the zealots were flying around him, he understood that he needed to go 1 meter under the water so the bullet wouldn't shoot him. He knew that the bullet couldn't go further than 1 meter because he learned when he was training for the army. Not only this, he had the physical body to survive longer than the other member because he was an athlete. That totally made a difference for him. When the Japanese captured the drivers and Louis, his life went shittier than it was already. Since when you're on a boat with no food and no water to drink for 50 days, you are really really skinny and you don't have any energy. So when he got captured, they started beating him and they wanted information about the America. Well, once they figured out that none of them had the right information because they weren't near an island for so long, they decided that they should go into a prisoner camp. So the driver went to a camp and Louis went into another camp. But the big thing that happened to Louis is that when he arrived at his camp, the chief in charge of the camp was named the Bird, and he really didn't like Louis, which Louis never knew why. But what the Bird did the first time he saw him, he punched him right into the face with a stick, because the Bird was always walking with a stick to beat everyone. Um, this is what happened to Louis for a year and a half or 2 years, and he told in his book that it was really hard because he had no energy, he was unfed, and in the winter when he was near the mountain, it was extremely cold. It was really harsh for him, and he saw so many people dying. But the difference with Louis and most of them, it was that he had a will to survive. He already survived for such a long time on the ocean that at this point he really wanted to survive at any cost, even if the Bird was always on him, beating him. And to tell you how bad it was, one day he made it stood Louis in front of all the American, and every American had to punch Louis in the face.
We'll punch this man in his face. Miguel! Miguel!
Sir, we cannot do that.
Sir, the guy. Do it. Do it, sir. Come on. Just get over it. Punch him in the face. Punch him! Next! Come on. Come on. Next! Okay, come on, sir. Come on. Hit hard! Come on! Hit me! Next! Come on, Tink. Hit me good. Go on. Next! Come on. Next!
Like you can see, this was extremely painful. This is what it looks like for his life for 1 year and a half, 2 years. This was the daily routine. The Bird was making everything in his power to make Louis suffer and suffer, but Louis wanted to survive. So that's what this book and the movie is all about. I think it's about courage. When your life starts to get shitty, remember that so many people went to harder things and they survive. And even if your life sucks at one point, or you think you should be at another place, remember that some other went through worse than you did and still managed to survive. So I hope it gives you a bit of courage. Louis did this for 1 year and a half, 2 years, until the American won the war, and then he could go back to his kind of normal life because he started drinking. He had really difficulty sleeping, which is normal since all the pain he went through. But after many years, he went back to a normal life, and he managed to survive. Which at the end, later on in his life, in his 80s, he finally had the opportunity to do an Olympic in Japan, which was his dream at first, and you can see him running with the Olympic flame, which is extraordinary. And I believe when you have the mind, willpower, and the courage to survive and do extraordinary thing, you have everything in your power to do it. So hope you like this video. Give me a like, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.